Oh, oof. This ain't going to be long. I want to make this short. I have no interest in making this long, even though I botched not once, not twice, 3 times. 3 times. I botched trying to make this as short as possible. Look, no Roman Reigns, no Solo Sikoa, no Paul Heyman, no Jimmy Uso. I expect Jimmy maybe to be there to mess with a little bit of a LA Knight. Nope, he ain't there. Solo will be next week with Paul Heyman. And there's no sign of when we're going to see a Roman Reigns show back up. So this is what you get for the general show. There's no champ. We got a part-time champ on SmackDown. This is what we got. Open, not the LWO first. It's, surprisingly, KO opens the show. But not like you think. Because Corey Graves, kind of like... well, I'll give it like this. I've always liked Corey. And when you saw him and Carmella do their little story together, it felt real. Even though it's mostly scripted, you know that most of that is really their real lives, generally speaking. But they just had a kid. Carmella, who was known to have problems to be able to produce a child, just had a child. And he's taken off to be with his woman. So, more power to both of them. I hope everything works out. I hope everything goes well. I'll be honest here. I have not heard Corey Graves taking a very long vacation other than when they got married. So, seeing that he's going to be with his wife for some time, maybe at least a month or two maybe, or unless it's like a couple of weeks, I would rather see him gone for a couple of months to be with Carmella. That's what I'm hoping for. As a former husband, it would be good to at least be there for her within those first couple of weeks or month if you can get it. But that's what we got. Opening LWO, the actual opening. And let me give it to you like this. This is a long time coming. We knew that people saw what was going to happen. Santos Escobar was going to turn on Rey. We knew it was happening. We knew it was about to happen. But then they did not pull the trigger when it should have happened. So now we got Rey saying, I could not win due to the fact of the brass knucks. And he didn't blame Santos. He blamed Logan Paul. That was pretty much his way of doing it. Until Carlito came out, because he had a match right after they finished their segment. He came out and said, Rey, you know I love you. And pretty much, I think in Spanish, he said, I love you. But you're picking on the wrong person. Logan's not the issue here. It was Santos. He left those damn brass knucks on the mat. Why? And then they're facing one another until Bobby Lashley comes out. Well, mainly Santos walks off. And Rey and the Selena Vega go away with her ball legs. I never knew Selena Vega had a little bit of bow-leggedness. But, I mean, she's still gorgeous. Let's make it clear. She's a gorgeous woman. But she's kind of bow-legged. But we got Bobby coming out and we have this match between him and Carlito. Now, once you see the Street Profits do a little bit of shenanigans, when you see Montez Ford, you really need to see a Bianca Belair. I don't know why they will not pull the trigger on her. I really do believe she's reached the end of her run. And I would rather see her with the Street Profits. You hear me botching because it's frustrating to see that we've seen the same old thing from her. And I will talk about the 6-woman tag later. But I'd rather see her with her husband. I'd rather see her with Bobby Lashley. I'd rather see her with Angelo Dawkins. And it feels empty that she's not there. But once Santos Escobar comes back, starts fighting with both of them, and then he gets nailed by Angelo Dawkins, and also when you see El Toro and Wilder, and they get nailed as well. They get nailed. I think a little bit of a distraction for a Carlito, that's the reason why he lost. But when it was over, and we get the pounding in the ring because Bobby was not happy that he was having a problem with Carlito because the match was not bad. Carlito still can go very well, and Bobby and him have dealt with each other before. But when it was over, the pounding was happening. Santos was there. He didn't bother to try and help Carlito. Then it was Ray came in with a chair. And Ray was upset, saying, why are you not doing anything? He's family. He goes over to Carlito, and then Santos Escobar pounds that ass. I know that sounds bad, but basically he pounds on Ray. Ray fights back, and then Ray apologizes for hitting him because he loves Santos, but Santos rams him into a steel post, and then he gets his right leg caught between the steel steps, gets kicked, and Santos Escobar leaves. And he says it as he's walking out of the building with his carry-all. Ray, it was a long time coming. Fine. Okay. They finally pulled the trigger, but I believe it was a little too late. This is what happens when... Let me give it to you like this before I move on. When you see the difference between a Bruce Pritchard booking or a Vince McMahon booking or a Triple H booking, Bruce Pritchard elaborates a little bit more on Vince McMahon and makes it worse. Vince is bad. Bruce Pritchard makes it worse because he tries to double down on what Vince does. But when you see Triple H, he does it better, but then he does an extremely bad long burn. In other words, what I mean by that is that when things should be triggered, when it looks just right to trigger it, he doesn't do it. He takes longer than he should. Unlike Vince, who won't even pull the trigger unless he's in the mood to pull the trigger. When it comes to Triple H, he may book the person correctly, but when it's time for them to step up from that booking, he takes a long time before that booking gets fruit. And many people like it. I do not. I believe he takes way too long. I'm saying it right now. I'm not saying he does great booking. He doesn't. But he does at least booking that we can agree with to a certain extent. But he does way too long of a burn. Not because we have such short attention spans. But it seems that when it comes to him, here's the burn. Here's when he should begin to trigger it. You see what I mean? Vince would have just passed it. Bruce would have just passed it. Triple H is like this. He passes the burn when it's not too far off. It's like he waits a little too long. For me, I don't like that. Let's move on. A repeat from last week, I believe, or the week before last. Dragon Lee versus Cedric Alexander. What does this really give Cedric Alexander? Nothing. What did this give Dragon Lee? Nothing. Look, unless there's a feud, which I can understand there being a feud, there is no feud. This was just another straight up match. Now, people like the match, and I'm sure everyone's going to like it. There's no problem. KO was working the match and making it feel like it was important. I really did like that. But this is a repeat, which I don't want to see. I'd rather see Cameron Grimes go up against a Dragon Lee. Hell, put him up against what? Who else could you call in the back? Maybe, I don't care. Someone else. For Dragon Lee to get another match. And you could have set this up for Cedric Alexander wanting a second match. But you're just throwing a match out there. What, you're going to do a third match? He's going to ask for one more because he doesn't want to lose? And then you get the feud? I think that's a waste of time. It would have been better if Cedric had watched the match. He's frustrated. He sees Dragon Lee gets past two other people. That would be the best thing. Dragon Lee goes up against Cameron Grimes. Maybe he goes up against Austin Fury. Yeah, and a Grayson Waller. Yeah, repeat, but there's no feud there. You see a Cedric Alexander so pissed that he's getting the fame, he's getting the lights, and Cedric is getting nothing. That's when you can start a feud. Something to give a reason. Like Cedric could have a match. And pretty much he's losing and Dragon Lee is in the back talking, and then he looks at Dragon Lee and he's angry because he began his loss through Dragon Lee. I'm just saying. Moving on to the third match. We got Grayson Waller with LA Knight. Of course, LA Knight beats him. And I'm not even going to talk about the match. It's not necessary. It was what it was. It was before the match that was more important. This is where people are going to say, dude, you don't like LA Knight? Of course I do. I love LA Knight. I said it myself. I've said it for years. Eli Drake was money. He was in Impact Wrestling, and I knew sooner or later he was going to be something. I knew it. I still do. I know one day they will have to go with him because they're running out of people to work with. And he's so charismatic. He's now a ring general. Not the greatest, but he's now a ring general, which that was the weakest thing of him. He had the look. He had the talk. He has the charisma. The only thing for me personally was he was not a ring general. He needed a little more time to work with a couple more people to learn how to be a ring general, to not just guide the match, but do the psychology with the guiding of it. There you go. He is it now. But at this point, I don't know what they're going to do with him. They just put him with Grayson Waller. Yeah, this is kind of helping with KO because KO just had his moment with both of them after it was over. But still, I'm worried. But taking away from my worry, seeing the opening when he talked about when he did not beat a Roman Reigns. And he made it clear that, nah, I'm going to get that ass. I'm going to get Roman Reigns. I'm going to get that title. I'm going to whip that ass. It's going to be mine. That title will be mine. And that's when Grayson Waller came out. And he pretty much said, what was it? He called him kangaroo dumbass or something, I think. I can't remember. But the point is, he made Grayson Waller look like a bitch. He pooned his ass on the damn mic. And then after he got annoyed with him, because he made it very clear, you coming out here bothering me when I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to take all my frustrations out on you. He knocks him out of the ring, grabs KO's water, throws it all over his face. That sets up KO working with Grayson Waller and Austin Fury later. This is what you get. Now, I will say this when it came to KO. He's doing more than what Corey Graves does because he's a little more different. He's using all of the features that is for the, I forgot what they call it, for the special effects, where he's doing the circle, he's putting the mask, circle, he's putting the arrow, he's doing the face. That, I gotta say, was funny. Finally. Oh. How do I feel about John Cena being said he's retired? There's no retirement for John Cena. Now, if you don't know this, I'm saying it now, just in case you don't know. It looks like they may have a tentative agreement with the Screen Actors Guild. They just gotta do a main vote with the majority of the members. So it's a good possibility. They're going back to work very soon. So John, he's done. It's a good possibility if he does come back, he's not going to be there long because the Screen Actors Guild is pretty much have got their agreement with the movie studios now. So him doing this, I'm not surprised. But it doesn't mean John is fully retired. He's just going back to Hollywood. And let me give it to you like this. Final match. 6-woman tag. That should have been... Oh, wow. This should have been a singles match for Kairi Sane. Let's make this clear. Yes, we did have the moment with... next to the pre-Veterans Day, which is tomorrow. And pretty much they're flying the biggest flag they can over Titan Tower. That's WWE's main building. You get Bayley wondering what's going on with a Kairi Sane, what's going on with Io Shirai. I'm saying Shirai, why not? I don't care. They come out. They didn't tell Bayley because they wanted to take the load off her back because they wanted to make it clear. Bayley has given them so much, they wanted to even out the workload. That's what they were trying to say. Kylie, I don't know what it is about her right now. She looks so cute. She's in her 30s, nearing 40, I believe. Marry me. But she made it clear to Bayley, I respect you as the leader of Damage Control, and I forgive you. And she wanted to hug her, and Bayley didn't want to do that, but everyone gathered around and did the hug. And now we get Bianca coming out, who should be a heel, saying that, oh, this ain't right. I want to get back at y'all. So all three of you, I'm coming for you with Asuka and Charlotte. And that led to this match. Let's make this clear. This match should have been about Kairi Sane. This match should have been her re-debuting and letting people see the reason why the Pirate Princess was so damn good. No. We had a 6-woman match that should have been a singles match. That you could have had Bianca at ringside or Charlotte, whoever it was, watching. Where it could have been Shotzi that went up against Kylie. Because supposedly, because I didn't see it, Shotzi and Charlotte are now together as somewhat of a tag team. You could have let Shotzi beat a woman that Kylie beat. And they could have had to fight afterward. No. You had this match, which had to become a thrown out match because no one won the match as far as I remember. Because I did have to go and take a piss and I came back, they were already fighting. As far as I can tell, there was no win. It was just a straight up brawl because everyone hated each other so damn much. But in the end, Damage Control is on top. But then you had to use Kairi Sane to nail a Bianca Belair and nail a Charlotte. When you could have just let her have a win and then have a fight and then made it about Damage Control. No. You had to put all of Damage Control instead of promoting Kylie, then Damage Control, and reintroducing her to everyone. She's been gone since 2020, guys. The last time we saw Kylie was on my birthday in 2020, July 27th. And we had not seen her for 3 years and I think 4 months. And instead of reintroducing her correctly, they decided to reintroduce her in Damage Control instead of making it about her. And then Damage Control. Giving everyone a glimpse of who she really is without so much of a schmoz around her. We had some build, like what happened with Santos Escobar, with Rey, don't know anything about Carlito. We got something with LA Knight, which doesn't really mean much because what does this mean for him when it comes to Bloodline? Because Roman's not there often. You're going to have only Solo and Jimmy. Now with Damage Control with Kairi Sane, what do we really get? It's not about trying to rebuild her back up. It's about just throwing her to Damage Control. I don't agree with this. Some build, but not great. Peace.